We're here at Road Atlanta for the final event of the Pro Formula Enterprise Series. Like the Pro Spec Racer Ford Series, these drivers started their season at VIR and have come to the ARC here at Road Atlanta for the final. Scott-Rettich has taken a commanding lead over his competitors, but the talent runs deep in this roster. This is the SCCA Pro Formula Enterprise Series. Four events in, and one name stands out above the rest: Scott-Rettich. This young man has taken the series by storm, and he is the only driver to participate in both the Pro Formula Enterprise Series and the Pro Spec Racer Ford Series.
I mean, it's certainly challenging. The cars are so very different. You drive them differently. Your inputs, using a clutch, not using a clutch is a lot different, but I've been doing it for years, and I've gotten very good at it and used to it.
Last season, Scott-Rettich came up short in the championship, but it seems like this year he's come back ready to handle business. His first weekend at VIR was a sweep, where he took wins in both races. This would happen again at Mosport, at Brainerd, and then at Mid-Ohio. Yes, that means he has won every race to date in the championship series this year.
Yes, it's just been an incredible year to be undefeated and win all 8 races at 4 very different tracks. It's just been an incredible year. Our teams just worked very hard and given me an incredible car.
While Scott dominated the series, the guys over at J Motorsports continued to work hard to strive for the top spot. Most notably would be the 2 young drivers, Jason Wolfe and Patrick Gallagher.
It's been good so far. We've had a lot of seconds. We haven't been able to break out a win, but we're here, and I think this weekend's going to be our best shot at it.
I'm hoping to win, but top 3 would be nice too.
With such a commanding lead, it'll be hard for the 2 young men to knock Scott-Rettich from the top spot, but anything is possible. We'll be back right after this message. With so much racing going on in the world, you'd have to be a 4-headed monster to keep up with it all. Luckily, we have that. Join Peter Keene, Bill Wood, Errol Tucker, and their guest driver analyst each week for an opinionated look at the news coming out of the racing world. Remember, it's GoRacingTV.com for all your racing and video needs. Let's jump on board with Scott-Rettich as he takes us around a hot lap here at Road Atlanta. He comes up on the start-finish down the front straightaway. This is a very fast section of the track. We're going to take a right sweeping turn in turn 1 where you go uphill, and at the crest it's a blind left-hand turn. There's a lot of elevation here at this track. It's a left-right complex which takes you down into the turn 2, 3, and 4, 5 S's section of the track, very famous section of the track. This takes you up into a sweeping turn 5 where you're going to get more elevation change, and we're going to see a lot of action happening at that part of the track. Takes you down into turn 1 where we go towards the back section. It's important to get this part of the section, this part of the track correct, because this is where it takes you onto the back straightaway after turn 7. Very long straightaway coming down the back section. This is where you're going to see some passing happening, some drafting, and this is where you're going to see the guys with the motors actually be able to stretch out their legs. We come down into turn 9, and then we go down into a section of the track that used to be called Gravity Cavity, the turn 10A, 10B complex, hard on the brakes, turning left, right, and then back up. Elevation change dramatic here as you go under the Audi bridge, come back down through turn 11 down into 12, which takes you right back to the start finish again. And that's going to be a lap here in Road Atlanta with Scott Reddich.
Welcome to the SCCA Pro Formula Enterprise Round 9, part of the American Road Racer Champions at Road Atlanta. This is Go Racing TV. I'm Bill Wood. This is Round 9 of the Pro Formula Enterprises race. Jason Wolfe is on the pole. Patrick Gallagher is right beside him on the front row. Scott Reddich is part of our Spec Racer Ford coverage you've seen before. He's third. Fourth is Mark Eaton. Fifth is Matt Schneider. The third row is Jim Lebico. And we get the green flag. We're underway already. 16 cars on the grid. Jason Wolfe gets the jump on Patrick Gallagher into turn 1. Reddich follows Gallagher and Wolfe into turn 1. He's from Camden, Ohio, normally in a Spec Racer Ford. He's got a lot of experience in these cars, though, and already Patrick Gallagher loops the car. Doesn't hit anybody. Everybody manages to avoid him, but he loops the car. Some drama just a couple of turns into the race. It looks like Gallagher may have just been going too fast. He just loops the car. The car seems to be doing well. For those of you who follow the Spec Racer Ford on Go Racing TV, the Formula Enterprises cars are basically the same chassis. These are open-wheel cars. They have Mazda engines, 2.3-liter engines, about 170 horsepower. And you can see that Gallagher has his car up to speed. There he put a move on Eric Cruz of Barnesville, Virginia. Cruz qualified 11th. Gallagher was second on the grid. Jim Lebico of Salon, Ohio, qualified 6th. He's moving forward here. We talk all the time about drafting in the Spec Racer Fords. It's not quite the same issue in these Formula Enterprise cars. They are equal in performance, so whenever you have that, expect to see a lot of drafting in this category also. There's equal competition at the back of the field also. Andrew Cross Jr. of Jonesboro, Tennessee is putting a move on Kurt Harrelson from Owens Cross Roads, Alabama. You'll see a lot of competition up and down the field in these Formula Enterprise cars. We've got a couple of laps under our belt. The leader is Jason Wolfe, followed by Scott Reddich, Mark Eaton, Jim Lebico, and 5th is Paul Schneider, Charlotte, North Carolina. That's NASCAR country. These cars are anything but a Sprint Cup car. If you just joined us, Pat Gallagher looped his car after turn 1. He fell to the back of the line. He's working his way forward right now. He was second on the grid. He qualified well, much faster than some of those cars that were behind him, so he's working his way back forward. Should be fairly easy. For comparison, though, we had one round in the Spec Racer Ford Series that had only 7 seconds separating the entire field of, I think, 24 cars. Here, there were 16 cars, and there are 11 seconds separating the first and the last on the grid. So with a little more range in the qualifying times, it would make sense that Gallagher, who qualified up front, fell to the back. It would make sense that he would be able to come forward a little easier than it was in some of the Spec Racer cars that we saw earlier. On lap 3, there's still no change in the racing up front. Let's look at the second 5. 6th is number 31, Matt Schneider. Then we go to Pat Gallagher, who's worked his way up. He's picking up 1 or 2 cars per lap. 8th is Tilden Kinlaw. 9th is Sean Miller. And 10th is Patrick Lynn. Lynn qualified 9th. Kinlaw qualified 8th. They're staying right there as this race speeds along. Let's watch how Gallagher is making these moves through the field. He's a little smoother through the S's right here. You can see him taking a straighter line. That's how he jumps ahead on the car right in front of him. He'll be able to pass him right away. In fact, he completes that move on Tilden Kinlaw, number 3. That was a move into 7th place for Patrick Gallagher. Now let's jump ahead to lap 5 at the front of the line. Scott Reddich is following Jason Wolfe. We watched Reddich make a number of moves at this point in the racetrack in the Spec Racer Ford Series, but he steps out on Wolfe right here at the same place on the track, can't complete the move, and gets right back in line. That's why drafting is so important. If you can't make the pass, get right back behind him. Let him cut the hole in the air and do all the work. You can take advantage of the draft maybe later on. That's what number 88, Kurt Harrelson, is finding out right now. He puts a move on Joel Janko, but Janko is able to answer. He's got momentum going on, and he's got a better line in some of the turns. This is a battle for 12th at the back of the field. Still a lot of racing going on, even though they're not as fast as some of the front guys. They're still racing wheel to wheel in the back of the field. They're racing side by side and actually losing time. He should be right back behind him so he can take advantage of that draft. As long as they stay side by side and can't complete the pass easily, they're losing time. That's why some of the faster guys, they may not be that much faster, but they pick their spots where they can pass, whether they can outbreak a guy into a turn or get around him easily so that they get back in line and take advantage of the draft and keep moving forward. Now let's watch again Rettich and Jason Wolfe at the front of the line. This is the way it should be done. Rettich is behind Wolfe. He picks his spot, one of his favorite spots on the track. He can make the move in braking and in acceleration into that turn. He gets around him and continues on. Doesn't waste a lot of time beside him where he's losing time to the overall field. Looking at Rettich from Wolfe's car, you can see that Rettich had a lot of speed. It's just a matter of getting around him so that he can take advantage of that speed. Smoother line, and he's moving away from Wolfe right now after following him for some 11 laps. Wolfe's not as smooth as Rettich, it looks like. He's gone wide a couple of places, and every time he goes wide, gets off the racing line, he's losing time, and Rettich moves further and further ahead. Almost caught him at that one braking spot, but he went wide and lost that ground. Now here's where Wolfe can maybe make up some time. Rettich didn't plan it right. He got caught behind a slower car. That's Chris Licurdo in front of him, number 84. He qualified 16th and last in the field. That's where he remained at this point in the race until Licurdo spun and Rettich was able to get through, leaving Jason Wolfe behind him. It's not always speed that wins the race. Sometimes it's planning. Other times it's momentum. There's a lot of mental things going on in a car race. It's not just hold your foot to the floor and hope you win. In fact, that might have been what contributed to this spin by Wolfe. Maybe some disappointment. He wasn't paying attention. He lost control of the rear of the car on a turn, and all of that work that he had at the front of the field and keeping up with Rettich, it's gone now. That's Gallagher continuing his run through the field, getting around Licurdo. This is on lap 15. He even gives a little wave to Licurdo, who stayed out of the way, and let him move on, let the faster car go through. So let's get back in with Scott Rettich. He is at the front of the line and leading this race. The field is pretty well strung out now. There's no competition for Rettich. He is alone and pulling away. That one little glitch there with Licurdo and Wolfe, once that was worked out, he was able to move on with some smoother lines. He was able to move on and control the race. So here we are at the end of the race. It goes 20 laps. Scott Rettich is the winner by a large margin. We had 16 starters and 10 finishers. Rettich over Patrick Gallagher. Gallagher qualified second, was able to spin the car, go back to the field, and come back through the field to finish second. Paul Schneider was third. Tilden Kinlaw fourth. Sean Miller, Jim Lebecco, Joel Janko, Eric Cruz, Andrew Cross, and Chris Licurdo. That's our top 10. SCCA Pro Formula Enterprises Round 9. American Road Racer Champions. This is Bill Wood for Go Racing TV. We'll have Round 10 a little later on. Come on back. Should be a lot of fun.
The club, an amateur racer. Here at Go Racing TV, we salute you. And we want to give you all the tools and info to compete with the best. Find out how to do it all from your own garage by watching our Club Racer and Autocrosser shows. GoRacingTV.com, supplying all your video racing needs.
Scott Rettich takes another victory. He can't be stopped.
Yeah, I mean, going into race 9, we knew we had a strong car. We qualified third, but we felt that going into the race, our car would be strong in the 20 laps. I was in second there for a little while. I got around Jason and started opening up a little bit of a gap, and then he spun trying to catch me, and it's pretty much all over from there.
While Patrick Gallagher comes up short in a well-run race.
Yeah, we spun early, and we got behind the 8 ball right from the start. These guys gave me a good car, and I came back, I think, from 11th to 2nd. So it's a testament to J Motorsports and what these guys do. They're the team that's out here until 1 in the morning. No one else is out here, and it's good to give them some results. I'd like to get the win, but when you make mistakes, you're not going to win races.
Now over to Bill for the final race of the series.
Welcome back. This is the SCCA Pro Formula Enterprise Round 10, part of the American Road Race of Champions at Road Atlanta. I'm Bill Wood for Go Racing TV. On the front row, we've got Jason Wolfe and Scott Rettich. Scott Rettich is the points leader. In fact, he's the points leader in Formula Enterprise and Spec Racer Ford. They're followed by Mark Eaton, Patrick Gallagher, and Matt Schneider. That's our top 5. And the top 5 in points: Scott Rettich, Patrick Gallagher, Jason Wolfe, Jim Lebico, and Matt Schneider. 16 cars take a very late green flag, but they're off and racing. And it looks like we're going to see the same race that we had in round 9. Scott Rettich takes off after Jason Wolfe, who gets the jump at the green flag. Again, 16 cars take the green, a much closer field in qualifying. Jason Wolfe had the pole at 24.7. 16th on the grid is Chris Lecurto. He's at 29.9. It's at about a 5-second difference between the 16 cars in this race. The cars in the Pro Formula Enterprise category get strung out right away. Wolfe, Rettich, Gallagher, Schneider, Lebico, Kinlaw, Paul Schneider, Patrick Lynn, Sean Miller, the top 10 as we get this race underway. In fact, Matt Schneider is looking very racy. He qualified 5th behind Joel Janko, getting that spot back right now, beats him into the turn under braking. Kurt Harrelson still on lap 1. Looks like something might have hit him, upset his car, got him a little out of sorts. He gathers it back together, though. Harrelson started 12th on the grid. But if you look there in the background, I think that's Harrelson pulling off to the right side of the track. His name is not showing up in the scoring right now. I think that's Harrelson. Maybe there was something wrong with his car. Back at the front of the line, we're looking at the end of lap 1 going into lap 2. That's one of the places that Scott Rettich loves to challenge, and he does just that with Jason Wolfe going into turn 1. He dives under him and beats him into that line, the fast line going into turn 1. Jason Wolfe is trying to keep up, but it looks like Rettich has a smoother line through the turns there. I don't know if Wolfe is going to be able to keep up with him early in the race. We're on lap 2. Beautiful day at Road Atlanta. And I was right. Look at that gap Rettich has opened up on Wolfe. It doesn't take much. If you have a smoother line and momentum, you can pull away from the field. At the end of lap 2, it's Rettich, Wolfe, Patrick Gallagher, Jim Lebico, and Paul Schneider. That's our top 5. Wolfe has his head down, though. He's not letting Rettich get away from him. Look at him get sucked up by that draft. He's going to be around Rettich. He's going to try him in the braking on the next turn. And indeed, he does get around him. This is going to be a fight just like in round 9. Rettich and Wolfe at the front of the pack. Good speed from Wolfe. You can see the car reacting, a little fishtail there. Now it's Rettich's turn. He's going right back at him. Now's the best time to reach him. Don't let him get away from you. Challenge him right away if you can. And Rettich does challenge. He goes right after him, going into the front straight right after the start-finish line. Again, that's his favorite spot. He dives under to try to take turn 1 away, but Wolfe stays in it and doesn't let Rettich get away with it this time. He keeps him in place. Wolfe stays at the sharp end of the field. We're in with Rettich on lap 4 now, and it looks like Patrick Gallagher has jumped ahead of him. Now it's Wolfe, Gallagher, Rettich, Paul Schneider, and Tilden Kinlaw. That's our top 5. We've got a good race going here. We saw Gallagher in round 9 spin early and have to come back through the field to finish second, so Gallagher knows how to wheel a car. He's going to be difficult this entire race. Jim Lebico, Salon, Ohio, he qualified 6th, but he's slowing right now, pulling into the pits. He might have had some problems with the car on lap 4. He was running 11th, so he's going in to check and see what's wrong. Lebico was 4th in points after round 9. The problem is the guys he was trailing, Rettich, Gallagher, and Wolfe, are all still in the race. Let's hope this doesn't affect him in the point standings. Jumping ahead now to lap 8, Wolfe and Gallagher are trading places at the front of the line. Rettich is 3rd. Matt Schneider is coming forward. He's from Lexington, Kentucky, qualified 5th. That move, though, over Sean Miller puts him into 6th place. Matt Schneider lets everyone know he's going to be heard from. So at the end of lap 8, it's Wolfe, Gallagher, and Rettich at the front of the line, and at the start of lap 9, they go 3 wide. Rettich looks at a move, but he has to pull back in third place, follow them through turn 1. Good racing at the front of this field. Paul Schneider and Tilden Kinlaw are 4th and 5th. At the start of lap 10, Wolfe, Gallagher, and Rettich have separated themselves from the rest of the field before Gallagher loses it going into turn 1. Nobody touches him. He just lost the control of his car and spins right in front of Rettich. 2 of the top 3 cars in this race out, certainly out of contention. Man, we're on lap 10. That was completely unexpected. It looks like Gallagher, who started all of this, is able to continue. Rettich is still sitting there. I think he's out for sure. All of that drama going on behind him. Jason Wolfe continues on. We're on lap 10. Paul Schneider assumes the position behind Wolfe, but Wolfe is out there all alone. The lone wolf, shall we say. The safety car will come out now while we get that debris from the Rettich incident. We'll get that cleaned up. On lap 13, we have Wolfe the leader, followed by Paul Schneider, then Matt Schneider. Sean Miller is 4th. 5th is Patrick Lynn. Andrew Cross, Eric Cruz, Wally Asinga. He's 8th. 9th is Chris Lacurto. And 10th is Patrick Gallagher. He's hanging on back at the back of the line. That's Wolfe, our leader, getting back up to the front of the line behind the safety car. He'll be our leader when we resume this race. That movement back and forth, where you see all the cars doing, that's to clean off the tires so they have a good adhesion when they restart the race. Sometimes when you go offline, you pick up rocks and dust and debris and rubber, and that will keep you from getting a clean start when the race resumes. So we have Matt Schneider from Lexington, Kentucky, looking at Paul Schneider from Charlotte, North Carolina. We've lost a lot of time with that cleanup. Now we're getting in the car with Matt Schneider, and I'm not sure why he is wiggling his tires back and forth. We're under a race condition, but it looks like he's still trying to clean his tires off. Now here's an even bigger issue. I'm learning that the safety car, when it came out and didn't pick up the race leader Jason Wolfe at the beginning of the caution period, Wolfe went around the track, got back in line, but now that meant that he was a lap ahead of the field. So they put him in the pit lane. When he rejoined the race, he was at the back of the field. We start the last lap of the race with the number 73, Paul Schneider, at the front of the line. And the drama doesn't stop there. Look at what's happened to Chris Lacurto. He runs up on the back of Wally Asinga at the back of the field, flips over. Wow! A fairly straightforward race has turned wild on the last lap. You saw Lacurto climb from the car. He appears to be okay, thankfully, but there's still a race going on between Matt Schneider and Paul Schneider at the sharp end of the field. They're going wheel to wheel, Matt Schneider and Paul Schneider. Paul Schneider started this last lap in first. Matt Schneider caught up with him, and they're racing wheel to wheel. Remember, Paul Schneider qualified 8th, Matt Schneider qualified 5th. But Matt fell back and had to drive through the field to set up this wheel-to-wheel action at the end. You can't ask for more, 1-2 going wheel-to-wheel for the end of the race, but when the checkered flag fell, it was Matt Schneider, the winner, over Sean Miller, Patrick Lynn, Eric Cruz, and Andrew Cross, the top 5. Paul Schneider wound up 6th, Jason Wolfe 7th. Remember, he was the leader before the confusion. Wally Asinga, Chris Lacurto, and Patrick Gallagher. That's our top 10. Wow, what a finish. That means the points leader at the end of the entire 10 rounds of Formula Enterprise was Scott Rettich. He's the champion. Patrick Gallagher was 2nd. Jason Wolfe 3rd. Jim Lebecco 4th. Matt Schneider 5th. Tilden Kinlaw, Eric Cruz, Patrick Lynn, Sean Miller, and Andrew Cross. That's the top 10 on the Formula Enterprise Championship for 2011. Wow. Everybody gather yourself. I'm Bill Wood. This is Go Racing TV. Thanks for watching.
Hi there, I'm Tom Natchu, and this is Greg Kramer. We're called the old bastards of racing in many circles. You know, I guess we met back in the late 1980s.
Easy. It had to be at least that far back. Glory day of some racing, too.
Oh, absolutely. Trans Am was a part of the picture, and actually I learned to do pro announcing from this man around the Trans Am Championship. Oh, that is a long time ago.
A very long time ago, but I'll tell you what, you take a look at Trans Am racing in the early 90s in particular, the names that were running at that time. But the other side of the story was World Challenge was really starting to come alive at that point. And the names in that, there were sometimes you'd look at the two rosters and go, you know, I'm not sure which one is the most talent. Some amazing stuff from those decades past, and of course, a lot of those drivers also doubling up, running amateur racing in the runoffs, and it was spectacular stuff.
Now, Go Racing TV has got all of that action, Trans Am World Challenge, and even some runoff material, all coming up over the next season. That's going to be something to watch.
I know, to be able to relive those 2 decades of motorsports from the Sports Car Club of America's Pro Racing Department, Trans Am World Challenge, and then you include the National Amateur Championships, the runoff, the intense battles that unfolded there. It simply doesn't get any better than that, and it lives again right here on GoRacingTV.com.
Because I need to spend more time in front of my computer.
It was a fun battle out there, a little crazy at the end, but I really had a great time. So,
Great way to end your first season in Formula Enterprise.
yeah, it's been a great first year. You know, I learned a lot, so much in racing in general, and it's been so helpful. I can't wait for next year.
Big mess, confusing towards the end, but glad of the turn of events.
It seems like you had quite an exciting race, the second race of the event today.
I did. I started in dead last place, and I got a little lucky. I went out just thinking, you know, I'm starting last. I'm going to run some laps and have a little fun, try to get a good in-car camera video. I didn't think I was going to win the race, but things just started falling into place. A couple guys went off. I got a decent start, and by the end, I found myself in the lead. I was pretty happy.
After a more than interesting race, Scott Rettich will be crowned the champion of the 2011 Formula Enterprise Series. This would make him not only champion of this series, but the Pro Spec Racer Ford Series as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we would love to won the last race, but you know, Patrick spun in front of me, and I tried to avoid him, but I picked a side, and he was right there, and I got collected. But in general, it was just an incredible season. I mean, to come away with 9 wins, you know, I got to thank my team, Alliance Autosport, for giving me just incredible car, working hard all year. I got to thank my parents, my sponsors, PDI Communications, Springboro Car Wash, Hoosier Racing Tires, and Redline. We've had an incredible program all year, and it's just been a lot of fun.
Nipping at his heels would be Patrick Gallagher, the driver that made his way from the back all the way to the top over the course of the season.
Yeah, it was a good run this year. I'd like to get a win, but you know, this series is close. We had trouble all year long in the beginning of the season, and around the second half of the season we came along, and we were really fast. It's good to finally get some results.
And in third, Jason Wolfe. His tight racing with Scott Rettich all season ends up paying off.
It was a hard year for us to get the car all together and everything, but it turned out pretty good in the end.
Sounds good. Now, in this afternoon's race, there seemed to be a little issue in reference to pace cars and things of that nature. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, I was leading by 20 seconds, or around that, and then the pace car picked up second place instead of me. And apparently me catching up to the pace car and getting where I was supposed to be I was somehow wrong, but they took that win away from us.
That's going to conclude another year of racing for the Formula Enterprise Series. It was an exciting one, and Scott Rettich helped that to happen. We look forward to seeing Formula Enterprise back in 2012.
With so much racing going on in the world, You'd have to be a four-headed monster to keep up with it all. Luckily, we have that. Join Peter Keene, Bill Wood, Errol Tucker, and their guest driver analyst each week for an opinionated look at the news coming out of the racing world. Remember, it's GoRacingTV.com for all your racing and video needs.